Hello and a very warm welcome back to this week's episode of the Face Yoga Expert Podcast, the solo episode this week, and maybe a little bit of an out there one, but I feel like you're getting used to my podcast episodes that are solo and are a little bit out there. And before we get into it, I wanted to tell you about a course that I have, which is very much related to what I'm going to talk about today, but it's something I know you're going to love. Now, I'm going to put the details of it in the show notes for you as well, but let me tell you a little bit about the Face Yoga Retreat Bundle. Now, it's only £61 and you have lifetime access to this course, and it is such a deep, nourishing course, and that's why I want to start this week's episode by telling you about it before we get in to the main part of the episode. So the Face Yoga Retreat Bundle is a video series of deeply restorative online retreats which are focusing on firming your face, strengthening your body, and calming your mind. So it includes 4 online face yoga retreats of 3 hours each, focused on things like facial exercise, facial massage, acupressure, wellness techniques, yoga, beauty hacks, Pilates, style tips, sound healing, and gua sha. So each of these 3-hour online classes can be enjoyed in sections or as a full retreat to help you look and feel your best self. So the 4 retreats are all based around the 4 seasons, but each can be used at any time of the year for the ultimate self-care moment. So if you've been thinking that you want something that gives you face yoga, the facial exercise, the massage, the acupressure, the wellness techniques, but also you would like me to lead you through how to do some yoga and Pilates, to give you some really great beauty hacks, to talk you through some style tips, not only for your personal style, but for your home as well, to guide you through some beautiful sound healing with the alchemy crystal bowls, and to show you how to use a gua sha, then this is definitely the course for you. So you get 4 3-hour video classes, and within that, these are the themes. So you get 1 online retreat, which is basically a 3-hour video course, all sections up into 1-hour sections, which is focused around face yoga for fresh skin. And this is a spring theme class. It's lovely to do in spring, but you can enjoy this at any point in the year. And in this online video retreat, so in this little part of the course, you have face yoga, body yoga, and a beautiful sound bath. Then your next video series, which again is 3 hours, all in 1-hour sections, is called Face Yoga for Luminous Skin. And it's a summer themed 3-hour class, and it includes face yoga, Pilates, body yoga, journaling, and affirmation. So there's lots of focus in each of these classes for your face, but it's going much deeper than that for your body and mind as well. The next one, which again is 3 hours, but you have all the videos in 1-hour section, is called Face Yoga for Toned Skin. And this is an autumn fall theme class. Again, 3 hours, includes face yoga, holistic home and fashion style tips, and beautiful guided relaxation techniques. And then the final online course you've got there. So again, it's a 3-hour video class, all in those 1-hour sections, is Face Yoga for Sculpted Skin, and it's a winter theme class, and within this you've got lots of face yoga, you've got gua sha, you've got yin yoga, and you've got deep restorative relaxation. Plus, within this course you get 4 PDF mini ebooks with summaries of the key takeaways from each of the 4 retreats, and you get lifetime access to all of the content. So it's actually originally, when I taught this live, would have cost £236. So that's what people were paying for this beautiful retreats if they came to all 4 retreats. And now it's only £61. So they originally taught live on Zoom, and you get to experience these recordings in your own time now. So you'll get the exact same relaxing and informative experience as when it was live. Plus, your skin will look and feel glowing and energized all year round because you have lifetime access to this. It's only £61, definitely worth getting, very, very nourishing and restorative. And as I said, I will put the info on that in the show notes. So let's go into this week's episode. Let's dive into it, pun intended, because I want to talk to you about something which I feel deeply connected to. And I have a feeling that you may feel this way too. And if you don't, then I feel like it's something you're going to get a lot out of just by listening, and particularly stay tuned for the guided visualization nearer the end of this podcast today. So I want to talk about water. Yes, water. I want to talk about how water is my healer, and it's an element which has powered my life, even my births of my children, and definitely my self-care routines. It's a healer, a guide, and honestly, water is actually an energy that has shaped the way that I live and the way that I approach wellness and the way that I embrace life itself. So that is what this week's episode is about. It's about water. So grab your favorite drink, maybe it's some water, get comfy, and let's talk about why water has always been such an integral part of my journey from childhood to childbirth and in the everyday rituals I rely on today. So water has always felt like it's woven into the fabric of my being. And if you know me, you know that I am a Pisces, and we are approaching Pisces season at the moment. My birthday is 23rd of February, and as a Pisces, water is my natural element. And it's definitely where I feel most grounded, most in tune with myself. And it's interesting because even in traditional Chinese medicine, my dominant element is also water. So when I see my acupuncturist, she works mostly with my water element. So with all of this, my astrology and my dominant element in traditional Chinese medicine, I really start to understand that my relationship with water is far from a coincidence. It's something which really is part of me. And growing up, I was lucky enough to live by the sea. And I grew up in Plymouth in the UK and always saw the water and went to beaches there. And whenever we went on holiday, we would go to Cornwall, we'd go to France, or we'd go somewhere with water. So I feel from a very early age, not only knowing I'm a Pisces and of course now knowing my dominant element in traditional Chinese medicine is water, but it was always part of me and my childhood and my family. And as I've grown up, I've really started to understand that there is something so healing about being near water. And for me, it's not just the sight of it, it's also the sound of it, the scent of it, and the way that it feels in the air. Now, this may be the sea. I absolutely love the sea, but it can be many things. It can be taking a shower, taking a bath, being in a hot tub or warm, soothing water, being by a river, being by a canal, being by a lake. I always feel when I'm by water that it soothes my soul, calms my mind, and I really feel like it almost clears the internal clutter from within. And I'm sure you can relate to this. I mean, if you've ever taken a stroll along the beach or sat by a river, you definitely know the peace that comes from being by water. And although I don't live by water now, I visit water a lot, and I'm going to get more into that in a moment. But I just want to tell you about a study that I've been reading up about that shows that living near water or being near water can drastically improve your mental health. And there was a study from the University of Exeter that found that being by the coast actually lowers stress levels and improves mental well-being. So the studies are showing exactly what we all know and feel within. It's like our bodies, our hearts, and our minds are naturally in sync with the healing properties of water. So those lovely rhythmic sounds of the waves or the gentle flow of the river can really lower the cortisol levels and promote relaxation, helping to reduce stress and anxiety. And being by water actually improves the negative ions in the air. And the negative ions, again, are proven to help our health. And I think what is absolutely amazing is that we are made up of 80% water. So we are a living, breathing water element. So even if we don't have that connection with water when we're by it or when we're in it that I'm talking about, even if you are not an astrology sign that is water, maybe you're not a Scorpio or a Cancer or a Pisces like me, or maybe you don't have the dominant element of water in traditional Chinese medicine, even if none of that connects with you, then water is truly who we are at a deep level. And I want to talk about how water has been present during some really powerful moments in my life. So I've talked about in childhood how I grew up near the sea, and it's really woven into who I am. But I actually used water a lot when I gave birth to my daughters. So I had a complete home birth with my youngest daughter, Lilia, and I brought her into the world in a beautiful birthing pool. And my labour with Lilia was a really empowering labour, actually. So I definitely felt the labour pains, but very mildly for about a day or so before. And she was 11 days overdue. So I was rather big by then, and she was rather big too. She was £9.10. And I actually went into very active labour about 4 a.m. in the morning. And I woke my husband up and I said, Lilia's coming now, the baby's coming. So he went and filled up my birth pool. So I bought a birth pool. I'd actually bought it for my labour with Lucia, which I'll tell you about in a moment. And he filled it up and I got in it very quickly. We rang the midwives and they came over, and I'd planned to have a home birth. So the midwives knew that they were coming over as soon as we called them. And I got in about 4 a.m. in the morning and I gave birth to her at 11:22 on the 29th of June. And she is a Cancer. So of course she's a water sign too, just like her mummy, but she was born in water, literally gave birth to her underneath the water. She came out, we pulled her up out of the water, and she's been a water baby ever since. And that birth for me was, of course, incredibly painful because I was doing it just with the water. But it was so empowering because I felt fully in my element in every sense of the word, giving birth the way that I knew I needed to, I had to, and I felt called to. And it was just such a magical and memorable experience. So water there healed me all the way through. It held me all the way through that labour, and it nourished me all the way through the labour. And it was Lilia's first experience of this world was being in water. And I love that she's also a Cancer in astrology. She is a water sign. And my first birth to Lucia also included a lot of water. So when my waters broke, so I had a water break with Lucia straight away, right at the very, very early stage of my labour. Whereas with Lilia, my waters didn't break until probably about half an hour before she came. They actually thought she might be born in her sac, but my waters did break. But with Lucia, which she is now 12, so quite a while ago now, when I gave birth to her, my waters broke. And again, I said to my husband, Bruce, let's fill up the birth pool, which he did. And the midwives came over and I went into fairly active contractions. But it definitely wasn't a 7-hour birth like it was with Lilia. It was a 27-hour birth, as often first births can be. They can often be quite a lot longer. Although I know many, many people who have had very quick labours, actually. But for me, it was a long labour. And I had contractions probably every 2 to 3 minutes during those first 17 hours, and the whole time I was in the birthing pool. And you can imagine after 17 hours, I had no energy left in me. And despite the fact that the water was holding me, it was nourishing me, and it was easing the pain more than anything, I was at the point where I couldn't do it anymore. And in fact, it wasn't even my choice. Lucia got stuck. She did a full circle inside me, and it wasn't at all that it was dangerous at that point, but the midwives decided that it would be better that I went to hospital. I had an epidural. and it would relax me, and eventually she would come out, because she had gone back to back at one point. If you've given birth and you know what it's like to have a baby back to back, it makes the labor process incredibly painful. So they really felt that I should have an epidural. And although I had planned a home birth with Lilia, I always knew that I would be very open to the guidance of the midwives and of the medical professionals. And that's what they asked me to do. So I had to go in an ambulance to hospital, have an epidural. I had another 10 hours of labor with the epidural, and eventually gave birth to my wonderful Lucia, who, guess what, is also a water sign in astrology. So she is a Scorpio. In fact, she's a triple water sign. So her moon and her rising sign are Pisces and Cancer. So she is pretty much as much of a water sign as you can get, and definitely a sensitive, beautiful, flowing soul for sure. So absolutely, water, the warmth, the buoyancy, the softness, helped me to remain grounded through both of those labor experiences. It helped me, of course, to relax and ease those contractions, very different contractions with both births, but it was such a gift for me to have that. And what I love about that birth pool, just a little side note here, is I actually passed that birth pool on, of course, thoroughly cleaned out, to my chiropractor, and she used that for the labor of her child. Since it's been passed on to another mother, and another baby's been born in it. And I would expect that that cycle will continue for as long as the birth pool continues. So I love the fact that this beautiful water birthing and healing children and bringing them into the world is just being continued through mother to mother with this birth pool. And again, science really backs up the notion that water can help to reduce pain and anxiety during labor. And studies have actually shown that immersion in warm water, like I did during labor, can lower cortisol levels, which are the body's, of course, their stress hormones. And it can also help with lowering blood pressure, reducing pain perception, and helping with overall relaxation. And there was one study which was published in the British Journal of Anaesthesia, found that women who laboured in water reported lower levels of pain and needed fewer pain medications. And that definitely was the case with my birth with Lilia. And of course, really, with those 17 hours before I had those 10 hours on the epidural with Lucia, it definitely helped me to do that part of it naturally. And that's why now so many birthing centres have embraced water births. You see them in many hospitals as well, because it really does create that environment of peace and comfort. And for me, it was that for sure, and a tool for pain relief, but it was also part of creating a sacred space for new life to enter into the world. Now, let me talk a little bit more about water. I hope you're enjoying this podcast episode. I know, like I said at the beginning, it's a little bit of an out there one, but I feel like it's something I've been wanting to talk about for a while. And I've actually written a blog recently about that, which you will see very soon come out. And water has been crucial for me in some of life's most important moments. I always feel like it's been there for me during times of emotional overwhelm. And I can think when I've really suffered with my hormones. I remember a couple of years ago, my PMDD, and if you don't know, I get PMDD, which is something which is definitely under control. I know how to manage. I mean, for many, many years, I knew how to mask it, but I get a quite extreme form of PMS, which now is definitely better for many, many reasons. And I must do an update podcast episode on that actually. But I remember having really bad symptoms of it. So physically feeling really unwell with it, but also mentally just feeling so low and so sad. And I remember so clearly I had a couple of days where I was struggling to do anything. I was struggling to work, I'm struggling to see people. But I made myself go for a walk, and I walked about 15 minutes down to the river near where I live. And I just sat next to the river. And I remember just watching the river just flowing along, and I'm visualizing that all of the sadness I was feeling inside, all of the physical pain was just flowing down that river and away from me. So that's just one moment that comes to mind, but there's so many other moments as well. And it's interesting. Water is something I always turn to. So at the end of each day, I definitely have a cleansing ritual of having a bath. So I will always do this whenever I have finished bathing the girls and getting them ready for bed. And whenever I finish doing any work, I will have a bath. And I usually take my makeup off while I'm in the bath, and I just use it almost as a spiritual cleanse. And I feel like it just removes everything from the day away from me and just moves me into that sense of relaxation for the evening. And of course, it's physically relaxing the muscles. It also just increases the body temperature. And then when the body cools down, it really helps with sleep as well. So many benefits of it. And I love having showers as well. I find I get my best creative ideas when I'm in the shower. And I remember I had a podcast guest on that said to me that she calls the shower God's phone booth. It's where she gets all her best ideas. It's like these downloads coming straight down, like getting a call from God or the universe straight down into the shower, which I found a really lovely analogy, actually. And it is interesting when I'm in the shower, that is the time where I get most of my content ideas, where I will get most of my inspiration. And it is almost like those aha moments or pings or downloads. And I would say 9 times out of 10, when I've been in the shower, I will go straight to the notes app on my phone and I will type up the ideas that I've had, which is just wonderful. And as many of you know, I now live in Bath in the UK, which isn't near the coast. We do have, as I said, the river, we have gorgeous canals, but Bath is very rich in history and it's known for its therapeutic thermal waters. And the ancient Romans believed in the healing properties of these natural thermal springs. And even today, you can use a spa. There's only 2 locations that you can use in Bath to bathe in these healing waters. Now, I've lived in Bath since I'm 18 and I'm going to be 43 next week. So I've lived here a long time and I'd only used these healing waters once. And I had a membership at a hotel and a spa, and it wasn't with the special thermal waters. It was just a regular sauna and hot tub there and gym. And I was doing a meditation, and this was about 7 or 8 months ago. And I was doing a meditation tuning into my foot and my foot healing, because as you know, a year ago, I had surgery on my foot to heal a long-term injury. And as I was doing this meditation, I suddenly got this ping or download. I wasn't in water. I was just sat cross-legged doing some breath work. I suddenly thought to myself, I should be using these healing waters in Bath to heal my foot and to heal every part of me. Now, I mentioned about the Romans using it, but there's many, many stories about kings and queens, even in Georgian times, who came here to heal themselves using Bath's waters. And actually, Bath was given its name after these waters. And many, many years ago, there was a king who was banished from London because he had leprosy, and he came here and became a pig farmer. And when he was a pig farmer, he would find that his pigs would roll around in the warm thermal waters that were coming up from the ground, and they were healing themselves, any wounds on them or anything like that. And he found that he started to do the same thing himself and healed himself from the leprosy. And that's why pigs are often a symbol of Bath for that very reason. But then this king went back to London. He told everyone about these healing waters. And then from them, people have used these healing waters to heal themselves from so many different ailments. But of course, I'd never tuned into this. And I was a member, as I said, of a gym and a spa anyhow. But I looked up the one place that you can get a membership in Bath to use these thermal waters. And I realized what I was paying per month already for my gym and spa membership exactly the same price, I could use these healing waters. And yes, there's a gym there and there's a sauna and everything else and yoga classes. But I could go in these waters that are full of 42 different minerals, come straight up from the ground. They have to treat them a little bit for hygiene reasons, put a little bit of chlorine in. But I felt like this was the move I needed to make to help heal my foot. And it's the best thing I have ever done. I go about twice a week. I bathe in these beautiful healing thermae waters. I use the infrared sauna and I use, like I said, the gym and the yoga class. But it's so wonderful. And I feel not only is it helping my foot healing, but it's helping my mind and body as well. It helps me come up with creative ideas. With what I do, I have to come up with new, fresh, creative ideas on a daily basis for all the content that I make. So actually having that quiet time where I'm not on any screens, I'm not talking to anybody, and I'm in water allows those ideas to download. So I find it essential, not only for my mental health and my physical health, but also from a business point of view as well. And talking about that, one study published in the Journal of Human Hypertension found that regularly bathing in thermal water could significantly reduce blood pressure and alleviate symptoms of stress. So I love that the science is backing that up. But what I love even more is how history backs that up too. And talking of studies, there's another study published in the Environmental Health and Preventative Medicine that found that being around any water, so it doesn't have to be in this thermal water, whether it's in the form of lakes or rivers or oceans, can lower our cortisol levels and promote feelings of calm and well-being. So it's great to see that there are so many, there are loads of scientific studies about being in or around water. And I think there's something so nurturing about water. And it isn't just that physical sensation. I feel like it connects us deeper to a sense of inner peace. So when I stand by the sea or sit by a river, I feel that sense of clarity and calm. It's as if the water's movement mirrors the flow I really want to embrace in my own life. And I feel like it really teaches me a few things. I feel like it teaches me to release resistance, to surrender under life's natural rhythms, and to really flow rather than fight against the current. And this idea of flow is something which I bring into everything I do, but definitely my face yoga practice, if we relate this back to face yoga, because water, after all, is this ultimate symbol of fluidity and movement. It helps us to cleanse and release. And in the world of face yoga, this is exactly what we aim to do: release tension from our bodies, but mostly our faces, and create space for rejuvenation. And just as we hydrate our skin from the inside out, we can use water to cleanse our bodies, but also our energies, emotions, and thoughts. And water really is a reminder of balance as well. And I always feel like it teaches us that to be truly beautiful inside and out, we need to cultivate this peace and stillness and flexibility. I think it's so easy to get caught up in the hustle and bustle of life and to become overwhelmed and stressed. But taking that moment to just connect with water, whether it's through a bath, a walk by the ocean, or sitting in the thermal waters, it gives us that space to reset, recharge, and reconnect with our most authentic selves. Now, you may be listening to this thinking, yes, Danielle, this all sounds great, but I can't really be by water or be in water much. Maybe you don't live near a river or a lake or a canal or the sea. Maybe you are not able to go in a bath or a shower very often. Well, there's something else you can do, which is incredibly powerful. And that is use the power of your own mind. And that's exactly what I'm going to help you do today. So this is something you can use anytime, anywhere. You don't need to go in or be by water to change the chemistry of your body. Visualizing actually ensures that our body goes into the same response as it would if we were really there. So what I want you to do is just take a moment to take yourself somewhere relaxing. Ideally, close your eyes. If you want to listen to this whilst you're walking along or driving, you can. But ideally, you want to close your eyes and you want to sit or lie down somewhere. And I'm going to guide you through a little visualization to help you connect with water. So just imagine yourself standing at the edge of a peaceful lake. The air is warm and soft, and the sound of the water is gently lapping against the shore that fills the air. You feel the warmth of the sun on your skin, and you take a moment to just be present in this moment. Your breath becomes deeper. You breathe in through the nose and allow your abdomen to rise. And you breathe out and allow your abdomen to lower. Inhaling and exhaling. Your breath as fluid as water and as peaceful as the lake. And now as you look out over the water, just notice how calm and still it is. The surface of the lake is smooth, almost like glass. You breathe in deeply, and as you do, you imagine that the water is in front of you. It's not just water though, it's pure healing energy. As you breathe in deeply again, you feel the calming energy of the water flow into your body. Soothe your mind and calm any worries, washing away any stress. With every breath you take, you feel the water's energy cleansing your body, starting from your head, flowing down through your neck, your shoulders, your arms, and all the way down to your toes. The water flows gently through you, washing away any tension, any negativity, and any fatigue. You feel lighter, more balanced, and at peace. Keep breathing deeply. Breath flows like water. On your next breath out, imagine releasing all the heavy energy, all the worries, all the fears. They leave your body and flow into the water. The water absorbs all of it, leaving you feeling peaceful, renewed, and full of positive energy. Take a few more deep breaths in this space, allowing the healing power of water to restore you. Let this sense of calm and stillness wash over you, reminding you that you are connected to something greater, something fluid, something full of peace. And if your eyes are closed, you can now gently open them, staying with this energy, and maybe taking a moment to set an intention that you can take with you into the rest of your day. Maybe an intention inspired by water. And thank you so much for joining me today. And remember that water is more than just an element. You can really use this in your life as a source of healing, of connection and peace. So definitely I encourage you to make time for water in your life, whether it's through drinking water or bathing or simply sitting near a body of water, and just allow it to reconnect you with the flow of life. And just allow it to bring your balance back. And just a reminder, if you're looking to dive deeper into face yoga and holistic wellness, I have got the wonderful face yoga retreat bundle for you. That gorgeous combination of face yoga classes, gua sha, yoga, meditation, sound healing and wellness hacks and more, all designed to help you unlock your best self. Only £61. Take care, and may the healing power of water always be with you.
So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you'd like more information on face yoga, or you'd like to become a face yoga teacher, just head to our website faceyogaexpert.com for more information. Thank you for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you again next time.